We get closer and closer, obviously, to start of spring football on Saturday. Yesterday, we attended the end of the tour of duty. Well, pretty much the end of the tour of duty workouts. Gave you our thoughts on that yesterday on Seminole Headlines, and then also an abundance of observations and articles and such on warchant.com. So go there, you'll find that, and stay with us because we're going to add to that, as we're wont to do, with even more content this week. I think tomorrow, Tom and myself and Ira will also do a preview for the defensive back segment group, look in the secondary and discuss all of that. So looking forward to it. And, I think that's an area. I mean, it's funny. You actually need three people to break down that room. It's an abundance of guys, not all of whom have been as productive as you'd like, not all of whom have had sort of the rise to prominence that you had hoped when they were recruited, but enough were vetted through the course of last season's disappointing first half on into the second half to feel pretty good about what you found on the back end, and then maybe what will emerge from this camp headed into fall, which creates depth and competition. And really competition, it's funny you bring that up. When I get asked about this team, and I get asked about, somebody texted me yesterday, a friend of mine, who said, you were out there today. Do beyond just what you said on the show, it's like they want, some extras. Is there, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, just, somebody who's like, hey, do you have anything else that good, bad, or ugly that you want to talk about that maybe you didn't bring up on the air yesterday? And I'm like, no, it really is pretty straightforward. For Florida State, they have to develop a level of talent that sees competition raised to a point where the intensity day to day is where it needs to be, and the cream rises to the top, born out of that competition, so that on game days they're not overwhelmed by something that plays entirely differently than what they see during the week of preparation. And I think that it's been a problem for some time, that whether it's a segment group or multiple segment groups that have been down, very down, and therefore, you compete against it every day in practice. And I'm not saying kids are out there loafing or anything like that, but when the competition's not real high and real intense, and the folks doing the competing aren't, overly talented, you're in for a hell of an adjustment on game days against several of the teams in this league, or it can be. And I think you saw some of that last year, and it got better as the year went on. But again, now we're hoping that at least amongst the starters, you're getting there. You're getting there. Hello, Eric. Thanks and welcome to the chat. I see he's on board. Hopefully, others will join soon. Let's get it together, everybody.
So maybe you can help me with an assignment I have for our bosses at warchant.com. I've got to put together a poll question for the defensive back room that we're going to reference when we record our video tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a simple question. What has you most excited about the defensive backfield this year? So is it the emergence of Omarion Cooper and Kevin Noles and their continued development?
Yeah.
Is it the new kids on campus and Azarie Thomas and Sam McCall? Is it that Jamie Robinson comes back and fortifies the safety group with Akeem Dent, Shaheem Brown, maybe some other players as well? There's just a lot to chew on there. Is it the continued development of somebody like a Jarvis Brownlee on the outside, or maybe he slots to the inside? Greedy Vance, where would you go with it?
I think I'd start with so let's start with the newcomers for just a second. Sam McCall, boy, oh boy. No, we know what he was coming out of high school and how he was recruited and by whom. He was a top-notch safety, a top 5 safety in the country, as he was, recruited and eventually won over by Florida State. I don't know I don't know what kind of impact he's going to have in year one, but he certainly looked the part yesterday. That got me excited. Got me really excited. I didn't get to see as much of Azarie Thomas yesterday, Tom. I know he's got a lot of size, and we're all excited about him as well. Florida, by the way, that phrase, he's got a lot of size for the position, that's Florida State in the secondary. They got a ton of guys with length and height and all that. So that's exciting. That to me is exciting. And I think that's the best aspect of that position group. Amarian Cooper was really, really good as a true freshman. You don't expect to get that out of a true freshman. So who knows? Maybe Sam McCall surprises too at safety. But Cooper ended up starting a handful of games and playing really well and coming on. Kevin Noles was really, really good. Another guy, very, very young. So yeah, their next step, Tom, is huge. I mean, they're only going to get much better. They showed a baseline of skill and instinct and talent and toughness last year that suggests that they're going to take a huge step forward now that they've had a year and in the system and understood it and played in big games and played important roles, stepped up in big games. Think about Cooper in the Clemson game. There were a lot of moments for these guys. So that's something I'm excited about. You know, I was really nervous and frustrated early on by Akeem Dent. Akeem Dent did not play, the way as well as I thought he would, at one point, but then he ended up really turning it on late. And I thought, okay, again, now you got something out of him. Shaheem Brown's a player that impressed us every time we went out to practice. He impressed the coaches. He made plays. He was a ball hawk. Didn't see a lot of game time. So I'd be anxious to see what he does. He's such a big kid. I wonder, can he stay at safety? I mean, he looks like a linebacker, and he doesn't cover great. He does have a nose for the ball. He is a hitter. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep him there, or does he eventually move into that linebacking room? I don't know. I mean, they moved Gant there. I think they moved Gant there because they wanted him out of the secondary. They wanted him out of the segment group. That's been a poison segment group, so they got to figure out something there.
Well, the couple of things that are interesting to me from yesterday is Renardo Green. I'm sure you talked about that. He was in the black jersey, which means that he's in good standing. That's a nice place to be.
Yeah.
And then Travis Jay is in a garnet jersey. And I know that everybody's trying to find a home for him, but that means that he is at the upper half. He's better than average when it comes to participation in these drills, which again means engagement. And you just wonder if somebody gets lost in the depth chart and earns their way down the depth chart. Will they come back? It's good to see that there's engagement there. But for me, the number one takeaway I had yesterday of the young guys was about Azariah Thomas. He reminds me, different sport albeit, of Carlos Beltran, because he doesn't look like he's moving, but he's really moving.
Yeah,
there's an
fluid.
effortless glide to the way that he runs, and with the size that he has, that it confuses your brain. But he's running next to Sam McCall and Hunter Washington, and he's beating them to the spot in certain circumstances in some of the drills that they were running. That to me is, that's different. There's a smoothness to the way that he plays the position, whatever it is that he's going to, fill out and become. But you can't fake that length and that speed. Yep. And the agility seemed to be there. Now, he's a freshman. I'm not trying to put too much on his plate too early. But of the newcomers that I saw yesterday, Azariah Thomas was the one I thought, boy, he kind of looks the part already in the way he moves, because it doesn't look herky-jerky. It looks very fluid.
Offensively, by the way, I felt that way about Deuce Spann yesterday. I really can't say enough about the high hopes I have for him. I don't know that he'll become an elite receiver. We haven't seen him play a lot of receiver. He hasn't, period, played a lot of receivers.
Right.
So I don't know. But I know to look at him and to watch him athletically, to the way he moves, the body type, the speed, the quick twitch, the long arms. It certainly looks the role, doesn't he? He looks like a guy that – because you're going to need somebody else to step up. Within that group of transfer portal kids, you're going to need guys, somebody else. West Virginia kid. He's going to be good. But then
Winston Wright.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Thomas. So Wright is going to be good. He's already proven it at this level. He's proven it at the Power 5 level, and he's been wildly consistent. So he's going to be fine. Of the others, I need somebody else to emerge from that group. Now, Wilson's going to play a different role, I think. I think they can add weight to him and use him as a tight end at some point, more as a tight end. He's got the length. He likes to block. He's all of those things. But they need somebody else, and I'm hoping Deuce Spann becomes that guy. It's not that I don't think Micah Pittman can help. I think his immediate impact is on special teams. He'll be a slot guy. I mean, he's small. I mean, he's thick, but he's 5'10", maybe.
Right. He's built to be in the
yeah,
slot.
Yeah, he's a slot guy, I think. So I think he's going to help you on special teams. But I think Span can help you on the outside there, and I'm kind of interested to see if he can learn it and dedicate himself to it, and what do we get out of him this year?
Again, with Johnny Wilson, you could see why he's a blue chip player. I mean, they'll put the pads on in a couple of weeks' time and then after spring break, and we can be a better judge of it. But you can see why this is a 4-star player coming out of high school, because even the way he moved around left to right with a lanky guy, you never know. They might be a one-trick pony, a red zone threat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. And maybe they're relegated solely to the job of a tight end. You grow them into that position, and they could be a mismatch, but there's not a whole lot that they can do in the variety of side to side. I was impressed with lateral movement and agility for that size. There's potential there, but it's raw clay that you still have to mold a little bit. Mm-hmm. I also, who turned my head yesterday was Josh Burrell. And it's not because he threw up 580 on the squat rack and that video went viral. It looks like he's more explosive this year to go along. He might be on the normal track. We forget he's a freshman last year. He might be on the normal track of development. Like, I wouldn't write somebody like that off just yet. Malik McClain flashed more towards the end of the season. Clearly, he was more capable of what was being asked of him early in his career. But I wouldn't give up on Burrell either, because he sees all these guys that are coming into camp. He knows that this is critical for him, just effort-wise and athletic-wise. He looks like he might be somebody who throws his hat in the ring for a couple of reps as well.
Well, he's massive. I think he's a tight end down the line. He's huge.
He is huge.
He's 225-plus pounds.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, but okay, teach him how to separate, how to use his hands with that size. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call the position. He belongs on the field if he can continue to develop.
If he can develop, yeah. We need it. Well, that's a big part of all of this is you do have existing guys. It's not all about transfer portal guys. It's not all about guys that come into the program from the outside that immediately impact your program. Obviously, we've had to rely in many ways too heavily on the transfer portal because this roster needed to be flipped, because it didn't have a depth of talent, of which I'm referencing. So we tend to focus on that, especially when you've hit home runs. I mean, the fact that you brought in Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas and others, Jamie Robinson, because you brought in guys in the transfer portal that had huge impacts on your team.
Gibbons,
you're inclined to kind of just hyper focus on that. But there are existing guys on the roster that are allowed to develop, that were here, that maybe progress at a normal rate as opposed to superhuman. And they come in and they mature and they figure out what it means to be away from home, how to put in the work and all of that stuff. They get physically and mentally more mature. It's possible. And you're going to need a lot of that because you don't have enough talent on this team from just the starters alone. You're going to need somebody to emerge, somebody that you're not expecting to play great, somebody who you maybe even, maybe your guy, maybe there's a guy, maybe Jordan Young, who we've been waiting on for a long time. Who knows? Somebody like that steps forward.
He was cheering everybody on yesterday as he was going through the drills.
Yes, he was.
That's good. That's good to see.
Well, we first guessed this. Unfortunately, it happened, and I want to get to it before we end up having Tony Tokarz on the show in an interview I did with him, and I'm looking forward to playing that for you here in moments at the bottom of the hour. But stupid-ass baseball does what stupid-ass baseball always does and botch this thing. And in my problem, Tom, you and I alluded to this earlier. So the first two series of the season are now canceled because they could not come to an agreement. The players union and management could not come to an agreement. And I would argue that to some degree, these two sides never bargain or have these labor discussions in good faith, to throw that term around. I don't think they do. And they never have, going back to 94, never have. But remember, management is the one that locked the players out. And at the time that they locked them out, they said they did it to necessitate the bargaining, the negotiations. Their words were they wanted to, quote, jumpstart the negotiations. And what did they do after they locked the players out? Nothing for 43 days. They didn't have a single GD conversation for 43 days upon locking the players out. That's what I mean when I say they were never negotiating in good faith. And believe me, I'm not coddling and putting my arms around the players union. I am saying that if you're management and you voluntarily lock the players out as a ploy to help facilitate, from your own words, facilitate further negotiations, you can't then sit on your ass for 43 days and not negotiate, which is exactly what happened. So that by the time they got around to having, perhaps for the first time this entire offseason, good faith negotiations and bargaining, it was too late. You gave yourself 48 hours to come up with an agreement.
Well, yes, they can. They can do whatever they want.
Well, right, and they did. And now look, going back to the first go-around where they disagreed, we always want both sides to somewhere meet in the middle, right? Both sides have to feel like they're being hurt to some degree it's like when you're buying a car. You want to feel like you got over, the car company wants to make money. So, both sides kind of like
obscene amounts of money they do.
Well, but I'm just saying, you want to drive off feeling like you got a good deal. They want to feel like they made money off you to the requisite level that they want to make money off of you. And the truth is, eventually the car company is going to win more than you are. But as long as you don't feel like you got absolutely screwed, but you're both getting hurt to some degree. This always happens in negotiations. This is always when there's a standoff. So to that point, the players dropped they wanted free agency to begin earlier. They dropped it. They were like, okay, this is never going to work. You guys are never going to concede to this. You're not going to give in to our demands for earlier free agent eligibility, which is what they were arguing, right? Every player wants a chance at that. And so they dropped it. Management never dropped their initial concern. You never got them to say, okay, we'll concede to this. They never did. And I guess, look, we can get into the weeds about competitive balance tax being a de facto salary cap. We could get into any number of these other issues. The truth is, yesterday, when they stood up there and said that they were canceling series, this might be the first time that they would be motivated, because one of the things that happens is that when you start missing games, not just spring training games, but regular season games, owners have to then give money back on their television deals, rebating money back on their television deals. That hurts them directly. That is a big damn deal. Some of those deals, go look at the Dodgers deal, go look at the Blue Jays deal. And there are surprisingly massive deals for groups like the Rays and others, right? Where when you make a promise, you're going to show this many games, you're going to have this many games. Now they buy into that and they don't get to do that. Those contracts are very lucrative, and you've got to give money back for every series that is dropped. So maybe, just maybe, they feel a pinch to start doing this. Never mind all the money they make with everything else about baseball, whether it's at the gate, spring, parking, all the
which we learned at the gate is a much bigger deal during COVID.
Yeah. My fear is that these two sides have never been collaborative. For negotiations to work, you and I can disagree. We can disagree about a show outline. We can disagree about a personal issue. But because I love you and you love me and we're friends, ideally, whatever we disagree about, when we come to the table to discuss it, and it could be volatile, we could seriously disagree. But because we're coming at it from a place of mutual respect and admiration, that we would then be collaborative. We would then say, okay, Tom, here's my point, and you would listen, and then I would listen to yours, and we would try to find something to chop up to come together, because it's a collaborative effort. This is not a collaborative effort. It's never been a collaborative effort.
So why do we care still then? You know what I mean?
Because I love the sport of baseball, and I'd like to watch it.
Yeah, well, we at least got something in our backyard that's a decent product.
Yeah,
would have liked us not to blow a save last night in the ninth inning.
Well, they're losing late, and they got to figure out late inning pitching.
They do.
I'm not worried about this.
The starting seemed fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
But the point is, okay, so for me, let me just take it from my perspective real quick, because I'm younger and this is all I know. All I know is the strike. I remember that's the first thing in baseball history that I remember.
Yeah, 94.
Right. I'm 8 years old in 94. So for me, this has always been there. And here's my attitude towards it. And I'm a diehard Met fan. And I'm really happy that, we've got an owner who's going to bully people. Great. We're going to become the Dodgers. This is awesome. I can't wait to see that. But for me, my age, if we start by June 1st, I'm good. Season's really long. I love opening day, but then I go on a break for a little while. And I fear for them, unfortunately, for Major League Baseball, there's a lot of people my age and younger who really don't care. They don't give a damn that start when you start. Who cares? Now, that's a problem for them on the long term, and they don't see that, and that's their fault. But we're going to...
I think they see it. They don't know how to help themselves. They really don't. It's amazing to me. that they don't know how. They have to understand that in the realm of entertainment, the world has changed dramatically since 1994. You don't get to fall back on what saved them the last time. It's not going to happen.
Right. They don't care, clearly. They don't care.
Oh, I think they care. They can't agree. And there's a difference. I think they care. I mean, one side's not going to say, well, I care more, so therefore I'll drop every single demand. That's not the way that works. I mean, you care to work, I care to work. If we have an unfair contract, we're not coming to work. So it's not that.
Well, okay, let me specify then. They don't care about April. They don't care about maybe even May this year. Clearly they don't. Because if they did, they wouldn't have taken that 43 days. It's not important to them. If it was, they would have found a way.
Yeah, I do think you have a duty. Well, see, one of the things, I get back to this, when you lock the players out, you're doing so, you're trying to create leverage. Nobody creates leverage by doing that until paychecks are missed. No paychecks on either side were being missed during those 43 days.
Totally agree.
So you can say, I'm locking you out. Well, great, I'm going to play golf. Have a good one. I mean, I'm not losing money at that point. Now everybody's losing money. So your hope here is that this is the impetus for, oh man, now we're all losing money and nobody wants to lose money. This ain't cool.
Right, but it has to get to a certain point. Like if I'm the players, I wouldn't even start negotiating until next month because for the owners, it's a pinprick. For the players, it's a gash. You've got to get something bigger than a pinprick out of the owners before they'll actually come to the table in good faith. At this point, I think that's
there's interest,
self-evident.
Yeah, there's interest-based bargaining and then there's positional-based bargaining, right? Like, so here's my position I present to you. Now you present your position. They need to be more involved in interest-based arguments because this isn't collaborative. If it were, I'd be interested in your position. I'm not. What are your interests? What are my interests? Let's negotiate that and stop pretending we're friends at all because we're not. I hate you and you hate me, but you have interest and I have interest. And guess what? If we're going to look at the Venn diagram, they intersect.
Even if it's very small.
But they intersect. Let's start talking about that. Let's get there. Can we get that? By the way, one other thing, and then I'll leave this alone and we'll move on. So sometimes you have to bring in a third party, right? And this won't be like a governmental agency that comes in. When there's labor impasses, sometimes the government gets involved. This will be a private sector thing if that has to happen. And the reason that works a lot of times is that these people who have these businesses are very wealthy for a reason. It's almost like the Jeff Cameron Show PR firm, Tom, where we do it better than everybody else. I can't force you.
Wait, we get paid for that?
I can't force you to agree to terms, and I can't force the other side to agree to terms. But what I can do, and I'm really good at this if I have one of these firms, is show you how it is that it's in your best interest that we get this resolved because you will eventually have to get this resolved. I mean, we do want to make a living. So if we all agree on you want to make a living and continue to be rich, both sides will agree on that, okay, then we're going to have to get this resolved. So what I can do is then show you the weaknesses in your argument, because this is a skill that I have, right, as one of these negotiators. And I can show them the weaknesses in their argument, and we can get a little bit closer. And I cajole all parties involved and say, no, well, why don't you give a little bit here? Why don't you give a little bit there? That may end up having to happen, but if it does, we're going to miss weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then the worst case scenario is that eventually the government does have to get involved, and then you miss the entire season.
Right.
That ain't happening. Like then
no, it'll be before that. But I mean, since this is a tale as old as time and it's all I've known since I've been a young lad, it's a married couple that doesn't care to fix it. So I don't give a damn about their negotiations because they don't care to fix it. They'll fix it when it's in their ultimate urgent interest to do so. And we're clearly not at that threshold at this point.
Yeah, but I think yesterday may be the very start of that threshold. Like I think now that games are being missed and monies are being lost, I'm in a weird way, despite my bitching, I'm providing hope for those that do want to see a baseball season. I think yesterday is the beginning of that because now it's very, very real. Listen, I have amorous to all sides. There's enough unfathomable greed on every corner in this situation. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. When we come back, we'll talk to the Florida State football quarterback coach, Tony Tokarz, who joined us earlier in the week, and you'll hear that next.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ. How you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. If anything, I feel more calm. I don't feel like I have to run around looking for company, and my people can leave me alone with the couch cushions.
Hey, I can stop anytime I want.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. Tally Spay. For more information and to schedule a same-day surgery and pickup, go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit isf.com. That's isf.com. ISF, solving the future.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
Penthouse Jewelry, Penthouse Jewelry, Penthouse Jewelry, home of the real nice price.
Hey man, have you heard the sound? Penthouse Jewelry's the best in town. For rings, diamonds, earrings, bracelets, and more. Penthouse Jewelry, Jewelry Store.
My necklace is broken.
Go to Pentalpha.
I need a new watch battery.
Go to Pentalpha.
My diamond fell out of my ring.
Go to Pentalpha.
I need my ring sized.
Go to Pentalpha.
My bracelet needs a new clasp.
Go to Pentalpha.
Jewelry need repairs? Watch need a new battery? Let the Pentalpha Jewelry family fix it. Pentalpha Jewelry, home of the real nice price for jewelry repairs and watch batteries. Pentalpha Jewelry, located on Appalachian Parkway across from Haverty's.
Penthouse Jewelry, Penthouse Jewelry, Penthouse Jewelry, home of the real nice price.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com. Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. As always, like and subscribe. Busy times, good times as we get everything going all at once. The end of the basketball season, obviously, we're already underway with baseball and softball, and of course, soon enough, spring football. So opportunity to talk to players, opportunity to talk to coaches, and that's exactly what we're going to do now as we welcome in Florida State's quarterback coach, Tony Tokarz, on the Jeff Cameron Show. Coach, first of all, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I know you got to be excited, getting ready to get go.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me go back a little bit here because it hasn't been that long. So in December, you're named quarterbacks coach here at FSU, and obviously you'd worked with Mike at Memphis, and then you've been here. You had opportunities to go elsewhere, but you chose to stick it out here and kind of, I guess, one way of saying is to take a step back, to take a step forward.
Yeah.
When it happened and you're announced as quarterback coach, you may have known it was coming. You knew you were in good standing with Mike, but the bottom line is you're officially named. What went through your mind? What were you thinking when that moment happened for you?
Let's get to work. I mean, I came down here with a very specific plan in mind, knowing the trust and the relationship that I had built with Coach over the course of the last few years and everything. And I've said it before, to come to a place like Florida State, it's a no-brainer. So I was excited for the opportunity, and not to sound arrogant, but I expected it. I was ready for it. It's what I've been working for. So once it became official and everything, it was hit the ground running, getting acclimated with my recruiting areas. Obviously, I'd been involved in the room just in a different capacity. Obviously, can't coach as an analyst, but continue to develop the relationships with the guys in my room and the rest of our roster as well. So it was pretty cool. I mean, I know a lot of people thought I was absolutely nuts for leaving Memphis and an on the field job, but if you're around good people that you believe in and you share the same vision that they do, things tend to work out when you just do the right things. And I was lucky enough to be put in this situation.
I want to get to your philosophies and your thoughts on the position, of course, and then look at the depth chart. But I'm curious, what is it about working with Coach Norvell that you appreciate? What is it that obviously allowed for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance here and do that? There's a promising future there, but obviously you have to like working with the guy, or you wouldn't have done that.
The first part about it with Coach is just the relationship aspect. He genuinely cares, and he wants people around him to elevate. He wants to help people become the best version of themselves. So even going back to my start with Coach as a graduate assistant, I was lucky because I was put in challenging situations, challenging environments, and he made me better. And a lot of his philosophy was very easy for me to buy into, because it's core beliefs that I was raised by, core beliefs that coaches that I had instilled in me. And then just getting the chance to grow my relationship with Coach Norvell, it's helped reinforce some of those. So, I mean, you talk about the relationship aspect of things, providing our players with structure, holding them to a standard, and then ultimately holding them accountable. Those are core values and beliefs that I believe in. And it goes back to big picture with Coach. I mean, football is a service-based industry still, so obviously I'm serving the players as a coach, right? But what else am I doing away from the game of football to develop and grow these young men? I mean, I look back at my own experience. Some of the greatest influencers in my life have been my football coaches. And I know a lot of other coaches on our staff would say the same thing. But yeah, I mean, going back to it, like I said, it's that relationship that I had with Coach and continue to have with him it's special, I guess.
Is he hard on you guys? I mean that in a good way. It sounds like I know the answer to this question. There is a standard, and you will live up to it, and that's the way it's going to work if you're going to work for him. But I just was always curious, because a lot of times you'll embrace that, right? If that's how you grew as a person, you'll say, hey, I want to be held to a standard that way. Is he hard on you guys?
Yeah. I mean, he cannot ask anything. He would not put us in a situation or ask anything of us that he wouldn't be willing to do himself. I mean, he is he's a worker, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, and him leading by example and doing that, it's pretty cool to see as an assistant. Like, I mean, I vividly remember as a graduate assistant at Memphis, we had a mega camp where there's thousands of kids that come through, and you have the head coach after camp picking up trash. I don't think you see that too often. Usually, especially after those days, people are looking to get in the AC and get in the car and get back home. But he is truly a service-based individual, no matter how big or how small that task is. But yeah, and I mean, kind of going back to your original question, yes, he's going to challenge us as coaches and everything. But he does a great job of knowing what makes different people tick, and how to get the most from them. And that's a gift, and that's a big reason why he's in the seat that he's in now.
It's an interesting spring, Coach. You consider that going into last spring, it was a quarterback competition of sorts, and there was no certainty as to who was going to win out. This spring, it certainly seems like it's Jordan Travis's job, and the other guys will push him. You hope, obviously. Going back to, you mentioned it a moment ago, you were a quarterback, your playing days, you remember what made you better. And you were a dual threat quarterback, if I can. I'll say that for you. I saw the numbers that you ran the ball some. What is the proper, if we're talking about Jordan Travis here, what is the proper utilization of that athleticism, but then also patience in the pocket and going through your progressions?
It still goes back to just continuing to grow him fundamentally as a passer. I mean, everybody knows how dynamic he is as an athlete and everything, but continuing to build confidence in the concepts that we're doing, how we're asking him to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to get to a point in his development where it's now he's using his legs as a weapon and not a crutch. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, more so in the sense that that's just reality. Like, you look at any dual threat quarterback, quote unquote, and in the history of football, when things tend to break down, it's easier and it's a natural instinct for those guys just to get out the pocket and use their legs or whatever the case is. But for him, just processing both pre-snap and post-snap and being able to let the game slow down for him, and it has, but it's taking that next step for him and building that consistency within that. I mean, there's going to continue to be a huge focus just on his footwork and fundamentals from really the ground up, because he is an extremely intelligent football player. So just kind of putting that full package together will be fun, and starting that process this spring. I mean, he's made a lot of strides already, and now it's like, okay, let's take that next step now, J-Trav. Let's take that next step for you.
Yeah, you addressed some of it just now. I was going to ask you a very specific question about what you were working on this spring, and was it mechanical? Is it footwork? Is it processing? What do you like to focus on as you enter spring here with him?
Well, if you focus on a lot, you're not focusing on anything really. So it's just two base things for me. I mean, focus on the consistency of his footwork and his drops, and then just focus on the full operation of playing quarterback, just as far as my process. So pre-snap, obviously you have your alignment, assignment, footwork, like that stuff just gets kind of ingrained in your mind, right? But having a plan, like seeing the picture from the defense, understanding what we're trying to accomplish within the play that we called, and then go out and execute and put us in the best position to be successful. I mean, is it 1st and 10? Do we need a touchdown right now, or do we just want to stay on schedule and move the chains? Big picture, just operational quarterback play, I'd say.
You understand the pressures of the position. Jordan is a high-profile guy amongst Florida State faithful. Obviously, a lot of their hopes and dreams are seemingly contingent upon that growth of which you speak and him continuing to improve as he has as a player. How do you balance that with what you talk to him about in his growth, knowing those expectations are out there, knowing there's real pressure at the position? Like I said, you've played it, you know, all eyes are always on the quarterback. But I think with Jordan Travis, given the potential, given what people have seen him capable of, going into this season, a critical year, I think a lot of people are just looking at him as a savior, and that's unfair to him. But at the same time, those are kind of the expectations that come with being an elite quarterback.
You're right. I mean, we talk about it not even just with our quarterbacks here. We talk about it with our whole team. I mean, how you handle, whether it's success or failures, your response to that is ultimately how you're defined, because it's really easy when it's 4th and 14, right? And you rip a ball in there and everybody's telling you how good you are, right? But you could miss a 5-yard hitch and get booed, you know? But that is, like you said, that comes with the territory. And I guess handling that, one, you kind of just got to get in the fire with it. You know what I mean? You have to experience it. Because I don't care who you are, if you're a 20-year NFL starter or you're just starting to play high school football, like at some point we're all human, right? So at some point, some of that is going to sting, right? But then it's like, okay, this happened. It's time to move through it, and then trust the preparation. Because when it comes down to it, that's how you build true confidence. It's not somebody telling you did something good and feeling good in that moment, right? It's the work and the preparation that go into the moment. And then you know what? If things don't go your way on it, okay, back to the drawing board. What can I do to get better? How can I improve now? So it's that mindset of improvement and everything right there, that improvement and focus on the process of the work, right? Because that's how you build that confidence. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
So we look at the rest of the quarterback room really quickly. Obviously, Tate is entering his third spring in Tallahassee, and there are real physical tools there, Coach, when I watch him play, but there are perhaps some mental hurdles for him to get through. I'm probably not qualified to say that, but you can see the physical tools are there. Yeah. Just at times he hasn't always pulled the trigger when given the opportunity, if you will. To get him past that and to see him grow, and in your assessment, I guess, of Tate Rodemaker and what he'll look like this spring, what you're hoping for him. And obviously you want competition. You want him to try to push the guys ahead of him.
Right. With Tate, it's continuing to build confidence through the work again and the preparation. I mean, just getting him more live reps with whatever the group that he's running with, you know what I mean? Whether that's 1s, 2s, or 3s. Tate has absolutely crushed this offseason. He's done a great job just with his body, with his mind. Football wise, and just like that kid is tough. And there's different ways to show toughness and everything like that, but you see it. Obviously, we have our mat drills that go on in the off season, and he's one of those guys that's finishing, that's getting up and encouraging and trying to make people around him better, which is obviously a huge element of playing quarterback. It's making your teammates better. So I'm excited to see Tate finally get on the grass this spring and see where it goes, but it'll be fun.
What's reasonable to expect from a newcomer like AJ Duffy? Obviously a coach's kid. We know he's talented. He's been a high profile recruit, and everybody was excited to get him on campus early. What's reasonable for us to expect as fans, and what do you expect from him in this first spring?
Well, being a young pup at the position and everything, there can be some interesting moments and everything just in your growth, especially the mental part of it. But like you said, he's a coach's kid, and he's a film room junkie. He loves taking it in. I'm getting texts and calls and everything all the time if I'm not there about, hey, what do I do on this? Or if this happens, like, what's the answer? You know what I mean? So he's pretty mature in his thought process and his approach. For him, it's like, dude, again, he's got to get on the grass, you know, because the speed of the game will be different. It's going to be fun to see AJ get out there too, just because he's a little bit different, you know. He's got something to him, so it'll be exciting.
I always like this, Coach, and we'll wrap it up here, but I wonder if you do this. I've had coaches say to me before, offensive coaches say to me before, that as it pertains to quarterbacks, and they're learning an offense, and they're learning, the speed of the game, all that it entails, they always like to judge where they're at in their growth, not just with the physical, but by the kinds of questions they ask. And you mentioned AJ's asking you questions. Are the guys asking the right kind of questions right now? Do you feel good about it as we go into spring, that the right questions are being asked?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day too, if they're not asking the right questions, then that's on me too, because it's my job to get the wheels turning, you know, and I want that. Quarterback play is it's fun because it's not always black and white. There's some areas of gray that are mixed in to play in the position. Tate might see something totally different than how AJ sees something, who might see it totally different than how Jordan sees it, right? And it doesn't mean that any of them are necessarily wrong. But it's how can we take those different thought processes and get their mind operating so it matches my thought process, so it matches Coach Norvell's thought process, so it matches Coach Atkins' thought process. Because when you play quarterback, you get the keys to the car, right? Like, and you're the one that's driving it. So if you took that right when you were supposed to take a left, maybe you better be able to explain it too. And that's the fun within coaching it a little bit too, and the challenge, but it'll be fun.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Coach. I'll see you out there on the field soon. And thanks for joining us today on the Jeff Cameron Show and on Warchant TV. Be well, good sir.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Take care.
Go Noles.
Yeah, go Noles. That's quarterback coach Tony Tokarz, Florida State University, of course. And yeah, you got that go Noles in there late. Well done. All right, we'll come back and react to that in a moment. If you're listening on the Jeff Cameron Show, if you're watching on Warchant TV, don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more videos like this. We'll have more and more as we lead up to spring.
Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare announced Tuesday it will discontinue its COVID dashboard on Monday, March 7th. The hospital says it decided to end the daily coronavirus data updates because of a decrease in hospitalizations and positivity rates in the area. TMH added if there's a dramatic increase in cases in the future, it will reconsider using the dashboard again. As of 3:30 p.m. yesterday, TMH reported 12 patients with COVID-19 under its care. 4 of those patients were hospitalized because of the virus, while the other 8 were hospitalized for another reason, but they happened to have COVID. A man has been charged with murder after a woman was found dead Sunday in Tifton, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Willie Goodman, 68, was charged with felony murder and aggravated assault in connection to the death of Ethel Michelle Straughter, 59. She was found with a gunshot wound at a home in the 300 block of Wilson Street. The GBI said Goodman is in the Tift County Jail. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 78 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 45 tonight, mainly clear skies and quiet. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Friday and Saturday, and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 74.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel, and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plate. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
As well as the interview with Tony Tokarz, quarterback coach, Florida State. So short segment here so that we can make way and make some money for the station, for Warchant.
There you go.
Help the advertisers.
Your
out.
heart's in the right place.
Well, we got to do it. So then, by the way, I like Tony. It was nice to talk with him, and I'm interested to watch his development as he obviously goes to work with these quarterbacks. You know, I think the mindset, it's what are you trying to accomplish here? You know, your decision-making, rep to rep, series to series, hyper-focusing on the now. That's the best way for Jordan to handle the pressure that is going to be on him coming into this year, because there's no doubt this team is basically going to go as far as that kid develops.
That dynamic of these two offensive coaches that are in quasi different positions, because Alex Atkins is always going to be over by the sleds and working with the offensive line,
kicking ass.
But then Tony Tokarz is taking the place ostensibly of Kenny Dillingham and where practices run and where the coaches are laid out there. But how it all sounds and looks, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Is Alex Atkins more involved when they go good on good, or is he waiting, and coaching up his particular segment group, and then he gathers together with the O-line, and it's more about pre-practice organization than it is on the practice field type shouting? And with Tony, is it good cop, bad cop? Which cop is he? All that kind of stuff. I look forward to seeing that probably more than any other coaching development this offseason.
Well, it was weird and I don't know if it'll make any difference, and obviously I'm not judging Tony on the X's and O's just yet, or the development of quarterbacks just yet, because this is his first year doing it. But we really did like watching Dillingham at practice, did we not? Just from pure entertainment purposes, that was a colorful day at the office.
Yeah, I don't think Tony's got it in him to be that colorful.
Doesn't
but
need to be, but
not
yeah.
many do. Kenny was strange like that, and we liked him for it.
Yeah, hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. TSparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody
I don't
knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. No, this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
The all-new Smitty's Tap House and Grill is now open. Smitty's reflects a deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats, with family recipes handcrafted by Smitty himself. Try the house-made giant pretzels, made from scratch mozzarella sticks, and some of the best cheesesteaks you've ever had. We're not even scratching the surface on what Smitty's Tap House and Grill has to offer, so be sure to visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning. Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
I believe we've gone 52 minutes and you haven't mentioned Tony Bennett once. Like Tony Bennett hasn't even come up.
So we talked about it yesterday on the Jeff Cameron Show.
Nobody's listening to that anymore, guys. They're all coming to the headlines. That's
We
it.
also did the
That's
Sunday Smash, Corey. I know you watched that, right?
Oh, that's true.
So
I missed that. How'd it go?
So not only did we really document play for play, blow by blow, final 215, and have great laughter at the expense of Tony Bennett, then we did it again on Monday's show. So, Corey, you couldn't be more off base with
But I mean, I wasn't a part of that. It's the three of us. The magic.
It didn't happen if you weren't a part of it.
The magic is the three of us together, gang.
Yeah.
Look, y'all talk about the football games on Sunday Smash, and then y'all talk about the football games on Monday. So are Seminole headlines in October? We're just going to talk about movies?
That's fair. All right.
We still bring it up.
You don't have to encourage me to make fun of Tony Bennett losing a game that he led by 9 points with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. You know,
I told Aslan that's got to be the worst loss of his career, other than losing to a 16 seed. Considering what was at stake and who he's never topping that one. But who he was playing, what was at stake, where it was played, the lead with 2 minutes to go. That's crazy. They lost that game.
It's inconceivable that they did. I mean, and they had,
but it happened, and I've watched it 50 times. I watched it again yesterday.
Did y'all see the post game press conference with Tony Bennett?
No,
I did not go.
Ira, you would love it.
How did you not go
I
rebel
went
in
on
that?
YouTube
You
to find
had
it, and I couldn't find
No,
it.
Ira, you would love it. He's obviously
it's on their-
devastated.
was on their site because I didn't find it on YouTube.
It was like, I think it's on their official website.
I will be doing that this afternoon.
But he was asked, he was devastated, clearly, and he was trying to have a smile, but he was devastated. And then one of the reporters asked him, if you guys got an NIT bid, would you accept it? Which is just a crazy thing to ask in that moment. And Tony Bennett almost loses his mind and he says something like, that's a really odd time for you to ask me a question like that. That's a tough question right now for basically pointed. But he's like, I'm not even thinking about right now. He almost was like, I can't believe you just asked me that.
In the waning minute that we have here, I can say this makes a return based on that win. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but could very well be that the NIT trolley is right there for us. I didn't even think we were going to make the NIT there for a stretch. So
the trolley had broken down.
Yeah.
They had to get some parts in.
He made his way over to Tony Bennett's house right after this game. It was like, good to see you, Tony. Smoke him if you got him, buddy. You're joining us. You might play Florida State again in the NIT, buddy. That was the best part because it was senior day.
Oh, man. I mean, I just can't. They had a possession with about, I guess, just over a minute to go, and it got down to 4. And they had a possession where they end up launching a 3 with, it was just ridiculous. I mean, they played so poorly.
Almost like they were poorly coached. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show. No, that's not what this is. It's Seminole Headline.
Holy crap.
Wait, first time in how many years?
Corey, let's walk.
Oh, come on, guys. I'm up against the break.
Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
media to have the luncheon with the coaches, and Mike Norvell will have his press conference as he does every year for the start of spring football, and then we'll have an opportunity to sit down, eat, and talk to players and coaches, usually coaches. In this, it's always fun, and I look forward to it. You'll glean something. The open door policy allows us and helps us certainly provide context and insight as camp gets underway. So I'm appreciative of that. They don't ask that we say that. I just want to note that I am, because I think, frankly, it does, good or bad, certainly allow us to paint a picture. And that's what you want, right? You want an opportunity to talk about players that are emerging and players that don't seem to be ready, and those in between that we'll be monitoring closely. I would suspect that this will be the most competitive spring since Mike Norvell has come on board. He's had to vet the roster, try to flip it, do lots of things that would encourage competition, but it's the first time that we've built up to a point now where maybe there are enough guys in each segment group that are fighting for starting jobs that we'll see a more intense product in the spring. I think that's true at receiver. I think it's true at defensive back. I think it's certainly true even along the offensive line, which year in and year out we've come in to expect is not going to be very good. But this year I think is going to be above average, maybe even bordering on pretty good. Not quite good. I'll be willing to give you pretty good. So if that's the case, guys like Bless Harris, who will be fighting for reps, could provide quality backup if he doesn't win a starting job. I'd like to believe Caden Lyles is going to win the starting job. That in and of itself creates more depth because you are able to move players around. That interior, I think, is going to be pretty damn good between he and Dylan Gibbons. I think you're really emerging there as the strength is in the interior. And if you think about the second half of last season, one of Florida State's problems offensively, and we saw it get stagnant at times, and again, they played a lot better defensively, which kept them in games and even surprisingly helped them win some games against the better part of the schedule, or what we assumed would be the better part of the schedule. Of course, we could have never guessed it'd start the season 0-4. But if you think about what kind of fell off a little bit in the second half of that season was the fact that they couldn't really run the ball effectively. Now, at the time, there was speculation about injury in the quarterback room, all those sorts of things, different guys dealing with malady of injuries and so forth, various maladies, I should say. But I actually think it was just because your center was on roller skates, your left tackle was okay, your right tackle wasn't good. So you had a lot of problems, I thought, offensively, just trying to run the damn ball. And everything that they want to do, we talk about this being an offense that is built for playmakers. Norvell will bring that up, and that's true. When things are humming, you're able to get one-on-one matchups in this offense and isolate guys and perhaps allow guys to shine that have the skill set to do it. But it's all predicated on being physical and being able to run. And until that tight end room improves, before they get more dynamic up front, and I think there's room for that in the offensive backfield as well, beyond Jordan Travis, right? You need somebody to consistently run the ball with a level of dynamicism they haven't had. Until that happens, I don't think you get those one-on-one matchups that allow playmakers to shine. Let's hope that that's what's been secured. I'll be watching intently in spring. I don't know, Tom, you and I didn't talk about it, but yesterday we did on Seminole Headlines. Caden Lyles is a horse, is a house. It's a massive man. He ought to make a huge difference.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for Maurice Smith, who is not small, but is
not strong enough yet.
He's not Caden Lyles size, that they were running together in the agility groups, because it's just like, man,
right?
It's a different class of player. It almost looks like different eras of the football program standing side by side. Now, again, Maurice has time. He's got more time, and Caden Lyles has been in college football forever. So that is a literal grown man that is playing that position. So, I don't want to harp on Maurice too much. But you mentioned something about the position battles between receivers and how that will be easily the best that we've seen in Mike Norvell's era and defensive backs as well. Well, also, what a novel concept. They'll go against each other on the practice field too and make each other better in that regard. It's been always something, at least last 4 or 5 years, that's been in the back of my mind. When I see one group succeed in practice, I'm wondering, is that because the other group sucks? Or is that because that the group I'm watching succeed is actually really good?
Unfortunately, lately, the answer has been an overwhelming yes. It is because the other group sucks.
Right. Maybe we're getting to a place, hear me out, but maybe we're getting to a place at that position, like defensive back versus receiver drills and 7-on-7s and whatever, good on good, and the interior of the trenches, where maybe when you see a win for a position group, you say, They earn that because they're going against decent competition.
Well, that's certainly going to be true when you bring up specifics to the interior of the offensive line and the interior of the defensive line. Who's ever winning those battles is winning a battle worth winning. I mean, you've got what we think is a strong group guard, center guard, and you've got a strong group depth-wise up front at defensive tackle, including 2 sizable returners. So, man, I absolutely get excited about that. I mean, Fabian Lovett's a big man, and obviously Big Coop is a big man. You've got that's a matchup.
Like, for example, if in tackles, you're talking about the tackles versus the defensive ends. If Jared Verse is wearing out Robert Scott, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
Correct.
And we need to see that in the fall. There's nothing you can do for me right now. Now, if Robert Scott dominates Jared Verse, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. I'm worried. I'm worried.
I'm more worried.
I understand.
Scenario, much more worried.
But either way, I'm like, I don't really know. But if Caden Lyles moves Big Coop or Lovett off the ball, and you get a gain of 4 and a short yardage in practice that you need with full pads on,
bravo.
I know what I saw there. I 100% know what I saw there. We can work with that.
Unless, listen, if the aforementioned reference is that Jared Verse is getting shut down by Robert Scott, we got problems. I'm just going to tell you that's I know what I'm seeing. That's a problem if that happens.
You sure? He might be healthy.
No, I'm sure that's a problem. That shouldn't happen because I think even if he's healthy, he's not a major plus player. I think he's just he's an adequate starter. But that can't be like that. That would be a problem. He's going to face better tackles than that guy. So, let's
that might
hope.
be a safe assumption.
Yeah. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Did you have any thoughts on Darius Washington yesterday? Did he stand out at all? Did you notice him?
No.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Some guys didn't, and I saw the list of what other, members of our staff had put on the boards and fed to Ira to put that master post out. And I thought, oh yeah, you know what? I wasn't even looking for that guy. But Darius was one member I saw where you could argue that he looks stronger up top, or you could also argue that we're still a little undersized at tackle in general.
I think the team is a bit undersized at a lot of places. I think I don't want to be dour here, and I don't want to extinguish people's hope before we even go into spring. I just think that there's a ceiling with this group. They still don't have the requisite depth of talent necessary to compete to win the ACC. And that's not saying much, right? It's the ACC. But I do think they're better. I think they will be better. I don't know what that translates to. Does it translate? Everybody wants definitive numbers. Does it translate to a top 20 offense? Does it translate to a top 20 defense? Does it translate to winning the Atlantic Division? Does it translate to winning the conference? Can you be a top 25 team, a top 10 team? We all want these numbers. Can you put a label on it? I don't really know. I think, you got to go year by year with the schedule. This year's schedule featuring out-of-conference games against LSU and Florida to go along with a really veteran-laden group at quarterback throughout the ACC in your competition. I don't know what it translates to. I do think Florida State's better. I just don't know if it means, an appreciable difference in record. I mean, I think they'll be better than sub 500.
But I heard you guys talking about this yesterday, just comparing it to 2 years ago. And you did this both in standalone and during headlines. The tour of duty a couple of years ago.
Oh, it depressed the hell out of me.
I remember walking out of there saying, "Oh no, they better have the edge and chip on their shoulder of all chips on their shoulder."
We were making up intangibles left and right.
Right. I mean, you're gonna have to possess the ball for 35 minutes in order to have a fighting chance. Something like that.
They've upped the level of talent. That is correct.
Easily.
That's fair to say. I judge it against the standard of us trying to be elite. We're not close. Are we worlds better than 2 years ago coming out of the tour of duty? Like you said, excuse me? Yes.
Yeah.
At more positions, absolutely.
I feel infinitely better. And that's because that's how down we were.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about how down we were. I'm not talking about 11 wins. I'm saying if you want to land somewhere between 7 and 9, depending upon injury luck and turnover luck, I think we're there. I think the size that we have is there, especially when you go across the board on defense. Tatum Bethune is a big dude. He looks like
and an ultra productive dude at a high level.
Yeah, he looks like your standard 3-4 inside linebacker at the college level. Like, he's not 6'4", but he's whatever it is, 6'1", 6'2", but he's stout.
And a lot of what for if you watch his game. And I brought up, you bring in these Miami kids, Miami Central kids, and he's been productive in college football. He's got instincts and knows football. Yeah.
So think about your front seven now. And I know we run 2 linebackers out there, but you've got the interior guys, which we know are big. They got to take some weight off of Dennis Briggs. He might be still a little bit too large to play Keir Thomas's role, but he's trimming down. That was clear. Jared Verse certainly is big enough.
Looks it.
Okay.
He was called by Josh Storms to be a physical freak of nature.
Right. So you like your front four.
Yep.
The interior, depending upon the down and distance, it's either Bethune and Deloach or Bethune and DJ Lundy. Okay. You certainly have the size there. At safety or your third linebacker, Amari Gaynor, or we'll see if anybody else emerges, and then Jamie Robinson in the box as well. Okay, you got thumpers across the board there. You've got a different type of citizen coming into this locker room in the defensive back core with McCall and Azariah Thomas on the way. But even Greedy Vance, who isn't really tall, is stout and looks like he plays physical. So you've got enough size on the outside with Amari and Kevin Noles developing more. And at safety, even though Akeem Dent's a little bit smaller, he plays bigger, he hits harder. We certainly think a Sidney Williams or a Shaheem Brown is large enough, too, to contribute. All right, so now I've all 11 positions on defense. You are now big enough. Are you deep enough? No. But are you big enough on the front line? Yes, across the board. That's worlds different than where we were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think it's good to have that perspective because I do struggle just having covered the program for so long, and you're out there for decades. At this point, I can say that you're out there for, the better part of 20 years watching athletes line up that can compete with any team in the country and usually win in those battles, to not the last handful of years witnessing those kinds of athletes. And so even as we see the uptick in the number of players that you go, yep, that works, that translates, he can play, you still know that the depth isn't there. But you're right. Amongst the starters, it's looking more and more like those teams.
Yeah, I think on defense.
Not 93.
Right.
Not 99.
How about 10? How about 15 or 16?
Yes, somewhere in there. Yes.
Across the board, starters-wise, defensively, yes. On offense, not across the board. You've got certain position groups that you like, but it's not across the board. You say, oh, that'll work. You hope that you have enough in different places that it spreads the defense out, and then Jordan Travis can take over from there.
Yeah.
Interior of the O-line helps. But I just, I get it. We are still undersized. We don't have the depth, but we're getting bigger. We're moving in the right direction.
Speaking of moving in the right direction, Tom, you just served it up on a platter.
That's what I do.
My good friends, Chad and Shannon, the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans, jumped on board with us last week. I told you about it. Hey, this is cool. You don't even know about this.
They're in the upper right-hand corner of that screen right there.
Are they? I'm not looking on the screen. If you go to FSUHomeLoans.com, FSUHomeLoans.com, you'll see there written, we are a proud sponsor of both the Nolecast and the Jeff Cameron Show. So it's my logo there next to
smaller.
Well,
yeah, right.
Budning
We've
are
got
good
a large
people. I'm
logo.
friends with them.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't care. I mean, hey, listen, the bottom line is Chad and Shannon are doing the right thing. They're investing in their fellow Noles in Florida State and the home loan process and making it easier for our listeners to have the best possible experience.
And our viewers. It's a wise expansion on their part in 2022.
Smart, buddy.
Very wise.
Smart. But I just want you to go to the website. I want you to see it and then just kind of look around. Oh, by the way, if you do that, not only will you learn about how it is that they make the home loan process easier and better for you, but you'll never doubt again, if you did to begin with, that they're Noles. Look at those photos. They are all in, and they tell you about it. They teach you how. It's fun to welcome in Shannon and Chad, the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans, onto the Jeff Cameron Show. Find them on Twitter, find them on Instagram, find them online, and you'll see us. I'm really celebrating us. and our new marriage to them. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
It's time to save some money and fill your tummy. Text the word foodies to 850-230-9456 and win 10% off your first order at foodiestakeout.com from great local restaurants like Horizons Grill, El Jalisco, Jerry's Midtown Cafe, and many more. Text the word foodies to 230-9456. That's 230-9456. Join the Foodies Takeout family and text foodies to 230-9456 and win now.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Long term of some of these results early in the season, I don't think it means much. I don't think, for example, a lot of people like to leap to conclusions. Sometimes some of the stuff you see early in a baseball season does last. Last year, early in the season, you saw some signs that we were going to have a hard time contacting the baseball, Tom, early in the season. There was a sense that maybe we were going to struggle to contact the baseball, and that's annoying. That's kind of a key aspect at times of having success on the field. And it did last all year long, annoyingly so. Other things can get cleaned up. For example, I mentioned yesterday, day before, last week, that early in the season, some of the indicators are that this group struggles on the base paths. They struggle when it comes to decision-making on the base paths. They do things that at times seem outlandish on the base paths. That's frustrating. I'd like to believe that is fixable, that you could clean that up.
Yeah, maybe tell them to stop.
Well, I just think that, for example, if you're a fat ass and I expect you to run a 4.440, I can't. It's not going to happen. It's just unfair. It's like, look at this fat ass. He can't run a 4.4. I should stop asking him to run a 4.4. He's just not going to be able to. Look at him. He's rotund. Now, that's very different than I'm going to need you to not get hit by a baseball in fair territory when you're standing on third base. Kind of can't happen. I don't know how it happened. Let's not do that again, guys. Let's line up in such a way where it's not possible that can happen. Let's not continually try to take two on routine singles or get to third from first if you get a bad jump on a ball that's rocketed to center field and being thrown back into the infield before you get to second. Let's not do that. That's not a good decision. It's in front of you. The play's in front of you. You can judge accordingly because the play's in front of you. So I'd like to believe they can fix the poor base running. The getting picked off at first routinely. We can fix that. We can get to where we fix that situation. That's a fixable situation.
Yeah, if they can't, then they've done a poor job coaching.
That's correct.
It's a very simple thing.
Now, that's why I don't panic about that aspect of what has been frustrating early in the year. Let's address something else that happened that led to a loss last night, which is the back end of this bullpen so far has failed. They haven't been good. There's no getting around that. They are not protecting leads in these midweek games when we get to the late innings. That's unfortunate. It's frustrating. It doesn't necessarily portend of a year-long struggle on the back end of the bullpen. It means that while you're playing these games and subsequently, unfortunately, in this case, extra innings yet again, losing these games, that you better find somebody who can handle it. You better find somebody who can handle the pressure of coming in the ninth inning and protecting a 2-run lead. Somebody who doesn't walk two hitters in the ninth inning when you're trying to protect a lead. Because that is, as they say in the business, a no-no. As a reliever, you don't walk people in a game that's a 2-run game, 1-run game. We want to avoid putting the game-tying runs on base or bringing the game-tying run to the plate, especially if you can, by not, walking people. So that's frustrating. That's a little frustrating, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen all year long. Could happen all year long, but we don't know for sure that it will. So I don't make grandiose pronouncements about what a team is or is not through 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. I say, got to work on this. Luckily, the thing they're working on is fixable. Got to find somebody here. Still haven't found them. Got to find somebody over here. Now, that could be a problem because maybe they search all year and they don't find somebody. Then you don't trust anybody at the back end of a game. And that is a problem. And we will call it as such when we get more data, more data points, more evidence to suggest that that is a real problem. We know the starting pitching is good. We know they're better bat to ball. The modern game of baseball features too many strikeouts anyhow, so you're never going to eradicate that altogether. But what's hurt them in a couple of these games late, a couple of those things I think are very fixable.
Yeah, I agree. The one hard part here is I'm going to sound very results-oriented, which sounds more like football than a baseball mentality. Right. But you got to stop losing midweek games if you want to host in the postseason.
Yeah,
you got to stop doing it. We're 19-17 in our last 36. Not all that's 11. So you got to stop losing midweek games. Now we've got better arms in tow here. We think they're not in the back end of the game. Now we had a couple of setup situations last night that were pitched beautifully.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's a graduation process, and then you find the solution you're looking for.
Yeah.
But you got to stop losing midweek games if you want to be a top 16 seed. Can't happen. It can't happen.
Well, you can lose midweek games. Not at the rate we're
not at this rate.
Yeah, not at the
rate.
0
for 2 this year.
Now, but that's very results oriented. I get it.
Yes, but at some point, your resume, like we want to get back to the point where we compare resumes and RPIs.
Yeah, well, I'm okay, and I'm going to stand by what I said earlier. The makeup of this team is better than the makeup of last year's team. This team is better than last year's team.
That's true.
Team, I think, is going to be good. I am not going to freak out about a couple of midweek losses. I don't like it. I prefer it doesn't happen. I'm not going to worry all that much about it if we're hovering around 500, 15, 20 games into the season. Not going to worry about it. If we still are at 30 games into the season, then yeah.
Wait, if we're hovering around 500 with these arms that can start games for us at 15-15,
No, if we're hovering around, I didn't say at 500. If we're 17-13 or something like that,
Ooh, buddy.
I'm not going to be over concerned because guess what? The arms that you're alluding to are going to start on a Friday and they're starting on a Saturday. And God help those teams that those two players are starting against.
That's what I'm
win
saying.
That series.
So how the hell do you get to 17 and 13?
I don't think we will be. I don't think we will be. But if if it's because we're losing a bunch of midweek games, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Doesn't mean anything to me. You're still going to roll those two bad sons of bitches out there for the start of every meaningful series.
So be it if it's on the road for a regional or super regional.
So be it. I mean, it's baseball.
Okay.
Listen, you agree those two atop the rotation are pretty close to as good as anybody has in the country.
I would assume so. Yes.
It looks that
It might be an unfair assumption, but it looks that way.
Well,
yes.
It's not an unfair assumption when you consider that most professional scouts would agree with that assessment.
Correct. Yes, and also considering that Messick within the ACC, which is usually quite good at this sport, yes, was a pitcher of the year. So, yes, you at least had the one.
So
Hubbard's on the way.
Very much so. I mean, you've seen his stuff. I mean,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
So if you have those guys in a series, that's a good advantage to have.
Correct. I would just like that series when it matters to be here.
I want it to be here, and they're going to win a lot of games, and we're not going to have to worry about it. We'll see if they do. We head back now to Tallahassee with that series against Cal that we've all been looking forward to.
It's just, okay, we talk about this in basketball, shorter season than baseball. Not terribly shorter than baseball, but certainly it is. Where, man, that loss is really going to hurt you down the stretch. You didn't need to suffer that loss, and I feel like we've already used a couple of those up. Last night and Sunday are two examples where it's like, come on, guys. You don't need to lose that. Even Jacksonville won.
I don't like losing games late when you have a lead, and it's happened twice now where you've had a lead and you're back into your bullpen. Screwed you, but it's early in the season, and I would rather him figure out who can and who can't. Now you're going to give a guy more than one chance to screw it up. Of course you are.
Yes, I don't want them to tight ass it during the midweek either. Right. And I know that's talking out of both sides of your mouth, but what I'm saying is, you don't want these freebies, or in a situation where you're ahead and you could close out, find me 6 outs, find me whatever it is. You're up 5-1. And then you get down to the seeding line, and now we're playing in a super regional in Baton Rouge instead of hosting it because it comes down to mistakes like this continuing for weeks on end.
We'll just go win that thing in Baton Rouge like last time, buddy. That's our home away from home. Who wants a piece?
I love us in a super regional because we roll out 1 and 2 with this rotation. I do.
Right.
But, that doesn't mean we have to go on the road.
No, and 2 losses like this doesn't mean we are going on the road. I mean, there's a lot of baseball to be played, and you'll offset some of this from an RPI standpoint that you're worried about by winning these series against really good teams as opposed to dropping a one-off against Jacksonville or Mercer or whomever.
Right. I agree. That's why I'm saying it sounds results-oriented where I say, could you please stop doing that?
Well, I don't like it.
Could you please stop it?
I hate losing it.
I'm not indifferent to it. I don't like it.
Well,
you stop doing that.
I'm indifferent to it early, and I'm not leaping to conclusions early. I am noting that it has happened. 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to them. Let's get this worked out, but we'll be all right. I'm not going to flip out. I know everybody, as soon as the game ends last night, same old. No, it's not. It's not same old. Not necessarily.
Nor am I saying that. But if we were both parenting in this situation, or we were counselors,
buddy.
It's your turn. You handle this one. I'm gonna walk away for a minute. I'm gonna be okay.
Oh, I've had a conversation. Currently, I'm having a conversation with my oldest one about a very annoying and predictable result of certain things. I'll just leave it at that. Leave it vague to protect his privacy. Nothing terrible. I've had this discussion time and again, and I had to have it again earlier this week already. And I had reached my point of. So we need to do this again. We have to have this conversation again. I've tried every which way to Sunday. I've done the very calm. I'd like to talk with you for a moment, Bryce. And then proceeded to explain, lay bare the issues I have with a certain behavior.
I need to send you the clip. But we stopped Judgment Day. Judgment Day is inevitable.
So then I do that. Then there is the fire and brimstone version, which is, Bryce, how many times am I going to have this conversation, which just continues to elevate, and threats of repercussions and things taken away and that kind of stuff, right? And then there is the, all right, babe, you talk to him, because if I do, I'm going to throw him through that window and then walk out the door. There's that version.
Bryce, am I going to have to levy economic sanctions here, the likes of which you've never seen?
Orange Theory Fitness, where if you need to vet and get some of these frustrations out after an argument with your spouse or your children, perhaps frustration at work, whatever it might be.
Or you blow a lead in the ninth inning.
Perhaps, and it eats at you for days on end. Then maybe you need to go to Orange Theory Fitness and help yourself out. Get mentally right, get physically right. It is science-based and backed and proven to work. I guarantee it. Go see my friends at Orange Theory Fitness and figure it out. That first class is always free. You'll learn the deal. And that first month, by the way, is free if you purchase a heart rate monitor, which you're going to want to do. You're going to want to see your improved fitness along the way. That's the evidence that you'll need as your guide to keep coming back time and again. Orange Theory Fitness, 2 locations in Tallahassee, Midtown, and on the north side over by Fresh Market. Go on in and let them know, man, I listen to that Jeff Cameron every day. Isn't he spectacular? He is. What can I help you with? Well, I'd like to sign up with Orange Theory Fitness. There you go. That's how it's done.
Your local news now.
The Marietta Police Department is asking for information in relation to a theft at an automobile dealership last month. On Wednesday, February 23rd, Marietta Police Department officers went to Miller & Miller Chevrolet, located on the 4200 block of Lafayette Street, after being informed of a theft at the dealership. A tire and a rim had been stolen from a customer's vehicle. The vehicle was at the dealership at the time of the alleged theft. Travis Allen, a 38-year-old of Bristol, and Jamie Owens, a 30-year-old male of Off, Alabama, were identified as the suspects in the theft. If anyone has any information on the incident, they may contact the Marietta Police Department at 850-526-3125. Florida A&M University is teaming up with the City of Tallahassee Animal Services in a joint program with FAMU's veterinary technology students. The partnership will give vet tech students hands-on experience by providing medical care and treatment for dogs at the city's animal shelter. The treatment also increases the dog's chances of being adopted. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 78 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 45 tonight, mainly clear skies and quiet. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Friday and Saturday, and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 77.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's service is backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Of 97 patients, 33 are vaccinated, and 63% are considered incidental.
See, this is what I'm upset about. He's basically made up the percentages to look like it's at 100%, but the two are not related to each other.
What's 37% of 97?
It's 35.89.
So why in the hell can't he literally ask iPhone include that in his articles?
Maybe he's got an Android.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
It's not fair. That's not fair. They could shock us. They could. Florida State, Notre Dame, Noles, 15-13, 8-10 in the ACC. Notre Dame, 21-8, 14-4 in the ACC. Tonight, 7 o'clock, TLC Double C televised on ESPN2. If you're not making your way over to the TLC Double C to get down with the Noles and cheer on a potential upset victory. It would be an upset. The Noles are rare underdogs at home to Notre Dame. And I'm going to put this out there for the world to hear. Get this. There's a method to the madness, Tom. I took Notre Dame and laid the 2 for big money. I did first thing this morning.
Did you really?
I said, that's a crazy spread. Notre Dame's going to beat Florida State's ass. Give me the Fighting Irish -2 against the Noles.
Why should you believe me? Because Kane told me so. That's why you should believe me.
Yeah. Doesn't make me a traitor. I'm an opportunist. I look for chances to make money wherever possible.
You're the Phil Mickelson of this beat, sir.
I don't know about all that. I'm not selling those picks to a foreign invader. But I will tell you that that I do think Notre Dame wins comfortably tonight by more than the 2 presented from Vegas. And I did it. And when I said it out loud, I could tell your spidey senses went off. You thought that is low. Maybe I'll take Notre Dame -2 against the Noles tonight as well.
Well, you know what you've just done? You have unlocked the skills of Wyatt Wilkes. 7 for 10 from 3 tonight.
Oh, buddy.
In the penultimate game of his home playing
Thank
career.
God. FSU leads the all-time series against Notre Dame. We're 7-5. First ever meeting coming in the second round of the 2011 NCAA tournament in Chicago, where we bitched that team in front of their fans, and it was glorious.
It's an edgy day.
We were the 10 seed. They were the 2 seed. The announcers and fans in Chicago falling all over themselves to massage Notre Dame. Notre Dame was in the Big East at that time, Tom.
My wife was in Seminole Sound at that time. She made the trip to watch a
Damn.
Carl White karate kick
Oh.
Hansbrough in the face.
In the face. In ACC play, we also have the edge. 6 wins, 5 losses. We're 5-0 all time in the TLC Double C against Notre Dame.
Ooh.
House of Horrors for the Fighting Irish when they roll in here, buddy. Because as I'm fond of pointing out, you do not just stroll on into the TLC Double C and expect to walk away with victory. 3 of those home wins were by 3 points or less for us in those games. So not only has it been a place that Notre Dame simply cannot solve, it has been infinitely frustrating.
One of those nights was in the Vista. You and I were there amongst many friends. And I believe it was after a local beer drinking festival that night. So it was extra rowdy.
It was particularly rowdy that night.
And they had an open look, wide open look for 3, not unlike Clemson. I feel like it was a better look than even Clemson's was.
Was that 73-71 in 2020 or was that 76-74 in 2014?
Ooh.
That'd have been 20.
It had to be the 2020 game.
That had to be the 2020 game, not that long ago.
Huh.
73-71.
It's just weird to think about 2020 and an event that you could attend. But yes, we did.
Yeah. 73-71,
Attend, we did.
2020. Yeah. 2 teams met only once last season in South Bend in the regular season finale, with the Irish upsetting us 83-73. They went 28 of 34 from the free throw line. A lot of free throws, a lot of made free throws. A loss which handed the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament to Virginia. That pissed me off.
We lost the regular season title, and then there was the Georgia Tech debacle later.
Pissed it away.
On 2 fronts.
Yes. So the last 4 years, Notre Dame has basically, I think their fans would admit this. Coach Bray may not, but I think their fans would. They've underachieved. They have not lived up to expectations at all. They have been failures compared to their expectations preseason and otherwise. They have a lot of talent on their roster. They have wins over Kentucky, North Carolina, Miami, and Virginia, offset by a bad loss at Boston College back in December. Ooh, we can relate. They have 5 returning veterans who have never made it to the NCAA tournament as evidence to their failures. That many returning starters for this many years, never having been to the NCAA tournament. You know who can't relate to that? Florida State. Not at all. In fact, all of our returning starters can only relate going to the Sweet 16.
So at what point in their 5-year career did they realize that they took a scholarship offer to a dump of a town with no payoff?
Oh, they're sitting there in the bitter cold next to that dump of a stadium that is overstated. And
there's no payoff.
Yeah, there hasn't been, Tom. There hasn't been. They do have a shot at winning the ACC's regular season title, however, this year. So they will play hard, hence the -2.
Tonight, and then they lose to us on one magical week in Brooklyn. They're out of the tournament.
My goodness.
They're out of the
Crazy.
dance.
Just like that. They're 5th in the ACC in field goal percentage, 3rd in the ACC in and field goal percentage. What did I say? Yeah, that's 3-point field goal percentage. 2nd in free throw percentage. This all adds up to a problem for Florida State, who refuses to guard anybody beyond the arc. We don't guard the 3-point line. We do like to commit live ball turnovers to boot. So it's a little disconcerting tonight coming into the game. We'll go from there. By the way, did you watch the very entertaining North Carolina-Syracuse game last night? I did. I watched it. It was fantastic.
Congratulations. I did not.
You should have. You missed out.
You know what I was doing? I was scouring the
Watching
futures
Florida
market.
State baseball fail at Mercer.
Actually, no, I was at a movie theater because there was a 50th anniversary screening of The Godfather, which I wanted to see
You
on the
went
big
to that?
screen.
You went to that?
I did.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I didn't know it existed. I didn't get an invite from you or anything, but I do. That's a fantastic moment for you.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
good.
very big. I believe in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also was scouring the futures market. It's plus 7,500 for the Noles to finish the job in one magic week in Brooklyn. So I threw a couple of pizza dollars
little
on it.
pizza money on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Notre Dame's a game and a half back. Duke currently, so again they'll play hard, and they need to win because they sit at the 48th spot in the net, 48 in Ken Palm. They've been a good team, man. They're 6-3 on the road. They're 8-1 at home. Notre Dame's good. I hate to admit it, they're good, and I think they'll win tonight. I'll put it that way. I think they'll win tonight. Hate that. Really hate that. It does bother me. What are you gonna do? Duke won over Pitt. FSU only has one other team to worry about in regard to the tiebreaker. But if it beats Miami, if Miami beats Boston College in Chestnut Hill tonight, which I once again jumped on board and took Miami -4 tonight on the road against Boston College. I'm just showering the folks with bets. Then that means we're a lock, as I predicted earlier, for the 8-9 game of the ACC tournament against Syracuse. That game will take place Wednesday, 1 week from today, at noon.
Oh,
the old Wednesday nooner.
Well, how about a post-game victory reaction show right here on these airwaves? I'm in.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter what we do in the final 2 home games if all that plays out. As I just mentioned, Duke's win also gives the Blue Devils #1 seed in the ACC tournament. I sounded like Lou Holtz there for a moment. So there's that. By the way, the ACC women's tournament does kick off today in Greensboro. I haven't checked. Have you been checking? The Lady Noles, 16-12, 10-8. I'm not supposed to say that. The women's basketball team, 16-12, 10-8 in the ACC. Net ranking of 51. Opening play in the 8-9 game scheduled for 2 o'clock tomorrow. So the ACC is highly ranked, though, in women's basketball, unlike men's basketball. So the bracketology for the women is better. They're expecting 8 teams to get in from the ACC, by the way.
Boy, those are the days.
Yeah. So right now, Coach Sue and her squad are mentioned in the first 4 out if you're pulling it up in the women's college basketball bracketology, which I had to look up because I haven't watched a second of it. So I looked it up today to see, where they were, but they're amongst the first 4 out.
So it's a big week in Greensboro.
Come on. Let's get this done. Come on, Coach Sue. She can't hear me right now. She's up there. But if she could, I would be imploring her, get a win here. We can't have both our basketball programs sitting at the hizzy for the NCAA tournament.
She'd say, come to a game.
I'd say no. I kid. I'd say she'd chuckle, secretly cursing me.
Yeah.
But then we'd sit down and have a good talk like we always do. It's all right. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit ISF.com. That's ISF.com. ISF, solving the future.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ, how you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. All I know is my family is much happier now that I've been altered. My people even brought Mr. Jingles to Tally Spay.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. How you feeling, Mr. Jingles? Leave me alone! Ugh, you're right. It is a lot nicer. Go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Course, I, despite sometimes proclaiming that I will not, always do watch and root for our beloved Noles. I will watch the game tonight. By the way, Get Down or Lay Down, always one of my favorites on the chat and interactive. I watch First 48 pretty consistently. I'm really curious about you giving a deposition to the Fulton County DA on your role in finding the murderer that was on First 48. That's incredible. Maybe, I don't know. We could figure out a way. I'd love to know that. I watch that show all the time. I probably watched it when you were involved. That's amazing. Also, another question. I think. Well, no, everything else has been addressed, so we're good to go. We're good to go. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction, always. If, look, commercial tenant build-outs, if you want to do that, you're looking to open a second store or something like that, a new restaurant, etc., need commercial renovations to get the space design the way you need it, call my man T-Spark, T-Spark Roofing and Construction. I've also mentioned about replacing your roof and the tax benefits if you want solar, all that good stuff. That's T-Spark Roofing and Construction. And I will segue into some picks right now. I've already given out a bunch of them. I've just been sprinkling them throughout the show. Feel pretty good about it. Where is my phone? I got to look at what I did with my bookie so that I can give you some real numbers here.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is real-time information.
Real-time information.
He's got you covered, does old Big Daddy J, the way that T-Spark will cover your house.
That's it.
That's right.
I did do Notre Dame -2, actually bet against us. I took Miami -4 as well. Did that. And
did you patch them together in the old parlay?
I didn't parlay it. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Just did it separately. I took the over in LSU, Arkansas. If you get, by the way, Indiana at home -4.5 against Rutgers, I would do that. There was an injury that got pulled off the board. You may have to shop that around, but I like Indiana. Rutgers terrible on the road, really good at home. All of this, of course, before I get Tom's wagers, brought to you by our friends at North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com.
You know, I'll tell you, I'm not feeling the NHL right now. There's some weird things going on, some trends that are being bucked. And the reason these trends are being bucked is because there's a lot of hockey games going on right now. Because of the Olympic break, which they didn't fully fill and account for.
Well, and hockey's always screwed up.
Most teams are finishing the season playing 30-plus games in 60 days.
Woo.
Used to be not allowable by the CBA, but this is a special provision this year because of the Olympic break. And
collaborative effort, I might add.
That's correct. And they're trying to make up for lost time with COVID and
together
get the schedule on time.
Nice of them.
That is a long-winded way of saying, not so sure. If you really had to pick something tonight, which again, I wouldn't, it might be the Rangers on the puck line. The Rangers on the puck line because that's a pretty good provision for you. You'll be getting plus money.
I got top 20s for you for Bay Hill. Keith Mitchell at plus 210 is what I got it at earlier in the day. I don't know if it's moved. Probably has. I got that at like 8 o'clock this morning. Also, Tom, I like Hideki Matsuyama, if I could speak, Matsuyama at plus 150, top 20. Will Zalatoris, who I routinely bet on. If you were looking for an outright winner, you can obviously get great odds with any outrights because it's hard to win a golf tournament. I also like Hideki Matsuyama as an outright at 28-1. And I like Will Zalatoris at 30-1 as well. Finally, I'll give you some outside the numbers stuff that I put in my notes here. Keegan Bradley missed the cut the first time he ever played this tournament. Since then, he has made the cut in 9 straight efforts at Bay Hill. So I've got him making the cut. If you want to put him top 40 because you trust him to make the cut, then you can get plus money doing that.
Is it a good provision? Because Keegan Bradley, I wonder.
He makes the cuts, man. Keegan Bradley is kind of a fantasy golfer's friend. He's not a threat to win anything, but he plays well enough to make cuts. You know, there are a lot of guys like that, by the way. Sung J M, who's a better player than Keegan Bradley is these days, not much of a threat to win every week, but he's a threat to finish in the top 10, and he plays everything.
I really like that Matsuyama number for the top 20 finish at plus 150.
Plus 150, yeah.
I mean, he's a first pager or nothing, really, but does he have a history at this course? Because I don't feel like I remember him doing a whole hell of a lot there, but am I wrong?
Tee to green, he's exceptional. The problem is he doesn't putt well. That's the story of his career. When he does putt well, he wins tournaments. Bottom line is for him, if he plays to 0 as a putter, okay, so no minus numbers. He's not losing strokes.
Middle of the pack.
Right. He's not losing strokes to the field putting. If he's just average as hell putting, he'll probably win the tournament because he's better than all of them in so many other categories.
So I don't know. This is where, you know, I enjoy the field once I see them, but you're doing these kinds of homeworks on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Is Morikawa in the field for this event?
No.
It doesn't feel like one that he would play typically.
No.
You know that he's number 2 on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting this year?
Yeah, that's stunning because he misses a lot of putts, especially when things are important. Now, that's weird to say because he's probably the best iron player in the world. But
he did that with playing 4 rounds at Riviera. Noted difficult greens. I get that's his state and that's his side of the country.
He loves the course. I picked him to win it. He finished second or third, whatever it was.
Second, it was a rousing performance on Sunday afternoon. But him? Second in the world strokes gained putting? Look out, John Rahm.
The bottom line is this. If he putts, he wins. Matsuyama's not quite the iron player that he is, but
he used to be.
But he's listen, nobody's if you're going to say, if we go through it's amazing to me. This is how good these players are as we sign off and you get me on a golf tangent and just diving into those numbers and having fun with it.
I'm trying to make money here.
No, but what you find out is this, like, every one of these guys are, incredible golfers across the board, right? So what you're trying to find is horses for courses, who putts well on what kind of grass, who's had a history somewhere. But then also, when you get into the depth of their numbers, so Rory McIlroy, for example, like we dog him because so much is expected of him. If he just gets his proximity to hole with his irons,
specifically wedges.
Yes, if he's just if he narrows that proximity to the hole to inside of 20 feet instead of constantly at 30 feet, he wins tournaments. He just doesn't do it enough. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Talk to you again tomorrow.